Thank you to everyone who sent in their experiences. Reading through your stories kept me up for days. These four stood out because of how similar they were, despite coming from different parts of the country. Each happened between 2 and 4 a.m. Each involved something that shouldn't have been there, and each person is still trying to understand what they witnessed. These are their stories, exactly as they told them to me. Story 1. The Breathing. Submitted by Sarah L. from Wisconsin. I heard someone breathing in my house for 3 hours before I found out where it was coming from. I wish I never looked. This was February 2024. I live alone in a small 2-bedroom house in rural Wisconsin. Nearest neighbor is about a quarter-mile away. I like the privacy. Or I used to. I woke up at 2:17 a.m. I know the exact time because I checked my phone, annoyed that something had pulled me out of sleep. At first, I didn't know what woke me. Then, I heard it. Breathing. Heavy. Rhythmic. Like someone had just finished running. It was coming from inside my house. I froze. Listened. The breathing continued. Steady. Never stopping to inhale. Just this constant, wet exhale sound. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. Checked my bedroom. Nothing. Closet was closed. Under the bed was empty. Door was still locked from the inside. But I could still hear it. Louder now that I was awake and listening. It was coming from somewhere else in the house. I called 911. Whispered that someone was in my house. The dispatcher said officers were on the way. Told me to lock my bedroom door and stay put. I did. Sat on my bed with a baseball bat, listening to that breathing. It never changed. Never got louder or softer. Never stopped. 15 minutes later, the police arrived. 2 officers. They searched every room, every closet, the basement, the attic. Nothing. No one. But we could all hear it. All 3 of us stood in my living room, listening to this heavy breathing sound coming from somewhere. One officer asked if I had any vents or ductwork that might be making noise. I said yes, but I'd lived here for 4 years. Never heard anything like this. The other officer started walking through the house slowly, trying to pinpoint where it was coming from. He stopped in the hallway, right outside my bedroom door. "It's loudest here," he said. We all stood in the hallway. The breathing was definitely loudest there, right where we were standing. Like someone was standing with us, breathing directly into our ears. Then the first officer looked up. "At the ceiling, at the attic access panel directly above us." "When's the last time you went up there?" he asked. I said never. The house came with a pull-down ladder, but I'd never used it. Had no reason to. He pulled the ladder down, climbed up slowly, flashlight in one hand, other hand on his weapon. He was up there for maybe 30 seconds. Then he came down fast. His face was pale. He told his partner to call for backup. Told me to go outside. Right now. I asked what was wrong. He wouldn't answer. Just kept saying to go outside. Wait in the patrol car. I did. Sat in the back of the police car for 20 minutes. More officers arrived. Animal control showed up. I saw them bringing equipment into my house. Finally, the first officer came out. Asked me if I had any large pets. Any animals that could get into the attic. I said no. Just a cat. And she was indoor only. He told me what they found. There was something in my attic. Something big. Curled up in the insulation near the access panel. It was breathing. That's what we'd been hearing. But it wasn't an animal. Not exactly. He wouldn't tell me what it was. Just said animal control was handling it. Said I should stay somewhere else for a few days while they investigated. I stayed at my sister's house. Called the police every day for updates. They kept telling me the same thing. Still investigating. Can't discuss details. We'll let you know. A week later, they called and said I could return home. The attic had been cleaned. Whatever was there was gone. They'd sealed up any potential entry points. I asked what it was. The officer on the phone went quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Off the record? We don't know. It looked human. Same size, same shape. But the way it was positioned, no person could bend like that. No person could stay that still while we were standing right below it. And the breathing, it never took a breath in. Just exhaled, constantly, For hours. He said animal control took it away. Wouldn't tell me where. Said it was a health department issue now. Biohazard. I moved back in, but I can't sleep. Every night I lie awake, listening, waiting for that sound to come back. That heavy, wet breathing sound. Last week, I was lying in bed around 3 a.m. I heard something. Soft, distant, like breathing. It was coming from the hallway, right outside my bedroom door, right where the attic access panel is. I didn't call the police. I didn't investigate. I just lay there in the dark, listening to it breathe, until the sun came up. It's still there. I know it is. They didn't remove it. They just made it quiet, made it wait. And one night, when I'm sleeping, when I'm vulnerable, that attic panel is going to open. And whatever was breathing up there is going to come down. Story 2. The Voicemail. Submitted by James P. from Oregon. I got a voicemail from myself, from my own phone number, while I was holding my phone, and the message knew things it shouldn't know. This happened 3 months ago, March 2025. I'm still trying to process it. I was working late at my home office. Software developer. Deadline crunch. It was around 3 a.m. I'd been coding for 6 hours straight, exhausted, wired on coffee and energy drinks. My phone buzzed. Voicemail notification. Weird, because it didn't ring. Just went straight to voicemail. I checked the caller ID. It was my number, my exact number calling myself. I thought it was a glitch. Spoof number? Spam call? I almost deleted it without listening. But something made me play it. Curiosity. Stupidity. I don't know. The message started with static. Heavy static. Then a voice. My voice. James, you need to listen carefully. You don't have much time. I felt cold. This was my voice. Not similar, not close, exact. Same tone, same inflection, same slight lisp on the S sounds that I've always hated. The message continued. In 45 minutes, you're going to hear a knock on your door. Don't answer it. No matter what you hear, no matter who you think it is, don't open that door. More static. Then my voice again. If you open it, you're going to see something. Something that looks like me. It's going to know everything about you, everything about your life. It's going to be perfect. But it's not me. And if you let it in, the message cut off, just ended. No goodbye, no explanation. I sat there staring at my phone, heart pounding, trying to rationalize what I'd just heard. Prank call. Had to be. Someone using AI to clone my voice. Some kind of elaborate joke. But who? And how did they get such a perfect recording of my voice? And why call from my own number? I tried calling my voicemail to play the message again. It was gone. Not in my voicemail history. Not in my call log. Nothing. Like it never existed. I told myself I was overtired, hallucinating from lack of sleep. I closed my laptop, decided to go to bed. I was walking up the stairs when I checked my watch. 3:07 a.m. 45 minutes from now would be 3:52 a.m. I laughed. This was ridiculous. I was letting a weird spam call freak me out, but I couldn't shake it. That voice. My voice. The certainty in the tone. The warning. I went to my bedroom, lay down, told myself to forget about it. Just sleep. But I couldn't. I lay there watching the clock. 3:15, 3:20, 3:30. At 3:45, I got up. This was stupid. I was being paranoid, but I walked downstairs anyway. Stood in my living room, staring at the front door. 3:50 a.m. Nothing. 3:51 a.m. Silence. I felt relief wash over me. See? Nothing. Just my exhausted brain playing tricks. Then, at exactly 3:52 a.m., someone knocked on my door. 3 slow knocks, deliberate, like they knew I was standing there, like they could sense me through the door. My blood went ice cold. The voicemail had been right, to the minute. I didn't move, didn't make a sound, just stood there, frozen, staring at the door. Another 3 knocks, harder this time. Then a voice. My voice. coming from the other side of the door. James, I know you're there. I can hear you breathing. Open the door. I backed away slowly, pulled out my phone with shaking hands, started to call 911. The voice continued. You got the message, didn't you? I sent it to warn you. But I need you to let me in. I can't stay out here. Please. It sounded so much like me. Desperate. Scared. Like I was the one out there, locked out of my own house, begging to be let in. There's something following me, the voice said. Something that's been chasing me through. I can't explain it, but I found a way back. I found a way to this door, to this moment, but I need you to open it. I need you to let me in before it catches up. I wanted to believe it. It sounded so real, so terrified. Every instinct told me to open that door, to help whoever was out there. But the voicemail had warned me. Don't open it, no matter what. Please, my voice begged. James, please, it's me. I'm you. From 3 days from now, something happens, something terrible, and I found a way to come back, to warn you, to stop it. But you have to let me in. 3 days from now. That specific detail. Why 3 days? If you don't let me in, the voice said, you're going to live those 3 days. And when you reach the moment I'm in now, you're going to understand. You're going to be standing on the other side of someone's door, begging them to let you in, and they won't, because you didn't. I stood there for what felt like hours, phone in my hand, staring at that door. The knocking continued. The voice kept pleading, crying, screaming. Then, at 4:32 a.m., it stopped. Complete silence. I waited another hour before I looked through the peephole. The porch was empty. I checked my security camera footage the next morning. There was nothing. No person at my door, no car in the driveway, just an empty porch. But the knocking had been real. I'd heard it. The voice had been real. 3 days later, I woke up at 3 a.m. I was standing in my living room. No memory of getting out of bed. No memory of walking downstairs. I was standing in front of my door. My hand was on the doorknob, and I could hear breathing on the other side. My breathing. I let go of the doorknob like it was on fire, ran back upstairs, locked my bedroom door. That was 4 weeks ago. Every night since, I've woken up standing in front of that door, hand on the knob, getting closer each time to turning it. Last night, I woke up, and the door was open. Just a crack. Cold air flowing in. I slammed it shut, locked it, pushed a bookshelf in front of it. But tonight, I'm afraid I'm going to open it all the way. I'm afraid I'm going to step through, and I'm afraid of what's waiting on the other side, waiting for me to finally let it in, or waiting for me to step out. Story 3, The Window Watcher, submitted by Nicole R. from Maine. Something stands outside my bedroom window every night at 3:33 a.m. It doesn't move. It doesn't make sound. It just watches. I bought my house 6 months ago. Small Cape Cod-style home in Portland. The bedroom is on the second floor. The window faces the backyard. There's nothing outside that window. No tree branches, no power lines. Just a straight drop to the ground, 20 feet down. The first time I saw it was in October. I woke up suddenly. That feeling like someone's watching you. I looked at my clock. 3:33 a.m. I glanced at the window. There was a face pressed against the glass. I screamed, turned on the light. The face was gone. I called the police. They searched the property. No ladder, no footprints, no way anyone could reach a second-story window. They said it was probably a dream. Stress from the new house. I wanted to believe them. But it happened again the next night. Same time. 3:33 a.m. I woke up, face at the window. This time I didn't turn on the light. Just lay there, frozen, staring at it. It was pale. Completely pale. No features I could make out clearly, but I could see the outline of a head, shoulders, like someone was standing there, floating there. I watched it for maybe 2 minutes. It didn't move, didn't blink, just stared into my dark room. Then, slowly, it pressed closer to the glass. like it was trying to push through. I turned on the light. It was gone instantly. This has happened every single night for 6 months. 3:33 a.m. Like clockwork. Face at the window. I've tried everything. Heavy curtains. They don't help. I can feel it there, even when I can't see it. I put a camera facing the window. Every night at 3:33, the camera glitches. Static. White screen. When it comes back on at 3:34, there's nothing there. I've had priests bless the house. Psychics cleanse it. Nothing works. 2 weeks ago, I decided to try something different. I set up my phone to record, propped it on my nightstand facing the window. At 3:33 a.m., I woke up. The face was there, but this time, something was different. It was smiling. I could see it clearly. A wide, impossible smile. Too many teeth. Teeth that were too long, too sharp, and it was holding something, pressing it against the window, a piece of paper. I couldn't read it in the dark. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight. The paper had writing on it, messy, childlike. It said, "Let me in." I dropped my phone. When I picked it up, the face was gone. The paper was gone. But in the morning, I checked my phone's recording. At 3:33 a.m., the video showed my dark room, the window, nothing at the window. But my voice was on the recording, clear as day. I was saying, "Come in. The door's unlocked. Come in." I never said those words. I was frozen in terror. But on the recording, I'm speaking them, inviting something inside. I checked my house. All the doors were locked. I locked them every night. Triple check. But one window was open. The kitchen window. Ground floor. Just wide enough for someone to climb through. There were wet footprints on my kitchen floor, leading from the window, across the kitchen, to the stairs, up the stairs, to my bedroom door. They stopped at my door, like someone had stood there, listening, deciding. Then the footprints led back, down the stairs, out the window. I installed motion sensors everywhere, camera on every door and window, alarms. But every night at 3:33 a.m., I wake up, and that face is at my window, and I feel like something's already inside. Last night was different. I woke up at 3:33, looked at the window. The face was there, but this time, it wasn't looking at me. It was looking down, at the foot of my bed. I followed its gaze. There was someone standing at the foot of my bed. Same pale face, same wrong smile. But this one was inside. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. Just lay there staring at this thing standing in my room. It tilted its head, like it was curious, like it was studying me. Then it reached out, one long, pale finger, touched the edge of my blanket. I closed my eyes, started praying, saying anything I could think of. "Please leave. Please go. Please don't touch me." When I opened my eyes, it was gone. Both of them, the one at my window and the one in my room. But my blanket was pulled down, just slightly, like someone had started to uncover me, started to reach for me. And there was something on my nightstand that wasn't there before. A piece of paper, same messy handwriting. It said, "Soon." I don't know what that means. I don't want to know. But every night, I go to sleep knowing that at 3:33 a.m., I'm going to wake up, and it's going to be there. And each night, it gets a little closer. And one night, very soon, I'm not going to wake up at 3:33. I'm going to sleep through it. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to know that something happened. Something I can't remember. Something that changed me. Story 4. The Recording. Submitted by David H. from Colorado. I set up a baby monitor in my son's room to make sure he was sleeping okay. Instead, I recorded something I can't explain. Something that visits him every night. My son is 5 years old. His name is Ethan. He's been having nightmares for the past 3 months. Waking up, screaming, saying someone's in his room, someone who talks to him. My wife and I thought it was normal kid stuff. Imagination. Fear of the dark. We got him a nightlight. Told him monsters aren't real. All the usual parent things. But it kept happening. Every single night. Around 2:45 a.m., we'd hear him scream. We'd run to his room. He'd be sitting up in bed, terrified, saying, "The tall man was here again." We asked him to describe the tall man. He said he was very tall, had to bend down to fit under the ceiling. He wore a dark suit. He didn't have a face, just smooth skin where his face should be. Classic nightmare imagery. We weren't too worried. Kids have vivid imaginations. But then Ethan started saying things he shouldn't know. Things a 5-year-old couldn't know. He told us the tall man said that Grandpa was sick. This was 2 days before we found out my father had cancer. We hadn't told Ethan anything, hadn't even talked about it in front of him. He said the tall man told him that our car was going to break down. The next day, our transmission failed. Again. How could he know? My wife wanted to take him to a therapist. I wanted to set up a camera first, prove it was just nightmares. Show him in the morning that nothing was there. I installed a baby monitor with a camera. High quality one. Night vision, audio, the works. I could watch the feed on my phone from our bedroom. The first night, I watched the monitor from midnight until I fell asleep around 1 a.m. Nothing. Ethan slept peacefully. At 2:47 a.m., we heard him scream. We ran to his room. He was crying, saying the tall man was there, saying he stood right next to the bed. I checked the camera feed. Nothing. Just Ethan sleeping, then suddenly sitting up and screaming. But when I reviewed the recording the next morning, I saw something that made my blood run cold. At 2:45 a.m., the video glitches, just for a second. When it comes back, there's someone standing in the corner of the room. The video quality is terrible suddenly, like static. But I can make out a shape, tall, very tall, dark clothes. The figure stands there for exactly 90 seconds, not moving, just standing in the corner, watching my son sleep. Then, at 2:46 and 30 seconds, it moves, crosses the room in one step. Impossible. One moment in the corner, next moment at the side of Ethan's bed. It bends down, the way you'd bend down to whisper to someone. And my son sits up in his sleep, eyes still closed, but he's nodding. Like he's listening to something, like he's having a conversation. This goes on for 45 seconds. Then, at 2:47:15, Ethan's eyes open, and he screams. The figure is gone instantly, like it was never there. I showed my wife. She started crying, said we needed to move, get out of this house, take Ethan somewhere safe. But here's the thing. When I asked Ethan about it, when I asked him what the tall man says, he wouldn't tell me. He said the tall man told him it was a secret, that bad things would happen if he told. I tried everything to get him to talk. Gentle questioning, bribery, nothing worked. He was terrified of breaking this promise to the tall man. Last week, something changed. Ethan came to breakfast and said, "The tall man says he's going to visit you and Mommy soon. He says you need to know things too." That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering what was coming. At 2:45 a.m., I felt it. A presence in the room. The temperature dropped. I could see my breath in the air. I couldn't move, completely paralyzed. But I could see. I could turn my head just slightly. There was someone standing in the corner of our bedroom. Tall, too tall, wearing a dark suit, no face. My wife was asleep next to me, completely unaware. The figure stood there for what felt like an eternity. Then it moved. Same impossible movement. One step from the corner to the foot of our bed. It bent down, and I heard a voice. Deep, resonant, coming from everywhere and nowhere. "Your son is special. He can hear things, see things. I've been teaching him, preparing him. He's almost ready." I tried to speak, couldn't. Tried to move, couldn't. "You can't stop what's coming, but you can be ready. I'll visit you every night now, both of you, and I'll teach you too, like I'm teaching him." It reached out one long hand, touched my forehead. The moment it made contact, images flooded my mind. Terrible images. Things I can't describe. Things that haven't happened yet. Things that will happen. Then it was gone. I could move again. I sat up, gasping. My wife woke up. Did you feel that? I asked. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. He was here, the tall man. He touched me. He showed me things. We checked on Ethan. He was sleeping peacefully, smiling. That was 5 days ago. Every night since, at 2:45 a.m., I wake up, my wife wakes up, and we lie there, unable to move, while the tall man stands at the foot of our bed. And every night, he shows us more, teaches us more, about what's coming, about what Ethan is becoming. I don't know how to stop it. I don't know if we can. But I know one thing. Whatever this thing is, it's not done with us. It has plans. Plans for our son. Plans for our family. And every night at 2:45 a.m., we're one step closer to understanding what those plans are. I just hope that when we finally understand, it won't be too late to save Ethan from whatever he's becoming.